Yeah.
I see your recording.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So how do you teach your kids about faith? I mean, it's great because you have kids that are of an age where they've been alive long enough where it's like, it's not, there's no question of, is it too young to start now? Is it too, they're practically teenagers now. They're like 11, 12, 13, right? Or something like that. So
14, 14,
it's
12, 11. So
14, 12,
yeah.
11. So it's pretty much like you've started talking to them at some point about like, there is a God. And when you have a problem, that's who you should pray to or whatever. How did you start that process and how did they take to it?
I think more so because I mean, having grown up in the church, you and I, the process was not even that difficult because we go to church, they have Sunday school. So from the womb, I've been either a Sunday school teacher or sitting in the audience. And then when my first one came along, started going to Sunday school. So Sarah, which we both know, she was there, my children's first Sunday school teacher, and she was that for a while. And then as they transitioned,
So you were a Sunday school teacher at Trendsetters then?
I was a Sunday school teacher there. I didn't start as a Sunday school teacher. I started after I had my second, where it's like you're sending kids there, but what are you going to put? So it's like, hey, you're sending kids to Sunday school. You need to do your part and at least assist in some way. So at some point, I joined the Sunday school class, which I thought would be awkward for me and the children, but they actually preferred it. So that when they got to an age about, I think it was 8, 9, then I became the Sunday school teacher for that age group until they turned about 13. And I think just growing up and being surrounded with people they already knew and were familiar with, they felt comfortable asking questions like, how many gods are there? Why did Noah have to go through a flood? Why did God make him look stupid? Like just things that, you know, we don't even think of because we're so much older and we've never considered before. Yeah. Well, why did God make, is it Ezra or Hosea? Why did he make him marry a prostitute? Like just different things because they also have their little Bible things now too. So their devotions. So they ask questions that are very interesting.
So you didn't send him to a Christian school. So it wasn't like no Christian. So
no.
So just through Sunday school and everything like that, and that's pretty much it.
And then reading them, like even till now, we still read the Bible every morning. The children.
Is that something that their dad is into too?
He's into it. It's just time schedule for work. So when he's available, like on his days off, he joins us. I lead it because I've led it since they were babies. But yeah, we have a Bible that we go through and we just continue every year to go through the same. We've graduated from the children's Bible, so now we've graduated into the adult one where, you know, the this, thous and hast and all that kind of stuff.
You know, that sounds like a lot of fun. That sounds like a great bonding experience too. Like I remember my you know, doing Bible study and stuff with my parents was kind of a bonding experience with all of us and them. That was really a beautiful thing.
It is. And I tell them no questions ever off the table. If I don't have the answer, I'm going to go to my dad or go to somebody
your mom
who's
or
known
somebody
for a while. Yeah. But so far they haven't been able to trip me up except for maybe once. And I went to my dad and was like, I've never even thought of that. He's like, you have some very interesting children if they're able to ask. And I don't remember the question, but it was like, wow, I've never even thought about it. Sometimes we just hear stuff and we just go with it. He's like, no, why is this? And I was like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, the beauty of it is because they were immersed in it at such a young age. Now it's just like, there are people who don't go to church. There are people who don't know about Jesus. There are people. So it's kind of like, for them, it's kind of foreign. Like, what have your parents been doing all along? Whereas their friends are like, oh, you go to church like every Sunday? Like, so they don't even, most of their friends either go to church consistently or don't even know anything about God. So it's just that paradox where they're like in the middle and just like, wow, I didn't even know this was possible. So
yeah, I need to do a better job of teaching Evie about God. Like I say, you know, right now we just kind of joke about it because she's 6 years old and she's like, and she says she's God. But I'm like, well, God founded the universe. He did this. I was like, well, God founded the universe. He did this. And she's like, well, that sounds great. I'm it then. I'm it.
Wow.
I'm like, no, you're not.
I'm it for my universe.
Yeah. She's just like, well, she's like, she thinks God is something to be, to aspire to.
Oh, well, I mean, we talk about these days, you're a goddess.
Terrible. And I get mad at her, but the more I get mad, the more she thinks that's funny.
But she doesn't, I mean, she's so young that she doesn't even understand. My kids have always known we pray to God. I'm not praying to myself or whatever. We may joke sometime and I'll be like, oh, some lady called me a goddess. Well, you're not God. I'm like, it's just a joke. It's just something people say. So they're very no,
that's really, really important. That's something I really want to get into. I guess I just kind of want her to like know that if she has problems, that's where she should turn. Because I feel like that's the greatest thing that my parents did for me. It's not like giving me a home. It's not, but I feel like it's really raising me in a Christian home because having that as my go-to, I have no idea who I would be if I didn't like have that
foundation.
And they started, it was like, I had a Bible by the time I was 8 years old, flipping through it. I was in a room by myself singing like songs of praise hymns just because I like had a singing voice, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, this is fun. If I was bored, I would just go sing. I would go to a room and like, it was also teaching me how to read at the same time. So learning how to read the Songs of Praise book was like, I'm reading, learning new words, and also singing. So it's like, it was something that I just like, and it just felt so like, I don't know why, I think I was crazy, but it was something that just felt so like real to me, like from the beginning, from like, I was just like, oh my God, I feel like God is real and he's awesome. He's going to do great things for me. Like, I just thought that, I don't know, it's like,
but that's
to be honest, I think it was a little crazy, but I thought that. I was
so.
really like,
I think that from my standpoint, my vantage point, it's more so my parents made, it wasn't religion. I think a lot of people, the reason they're so, I guess, distant from God is because it's a religion. And it's not, it's this icky, oh, God's going to do this to you if you don't do that. Where my parents always taught us is like, relationship with God, it's a relationship. Like, it's a relationship.
I felt more inspired. I wasn't scared. Exactly. I wasn't really like fed into like be scared of God or whatever. Yeah. Which I suppose is fine. You should have the fear of the Lord because you need that to keep you like on the right. But I think that from a young age, I was just more inspired. I was just more
fear.
Like
a healthy fear.
I wanted to, whatever. I wanted to be Solomon. I wanted to be Solomon.
Yeah.
I was I did. I wanted to be Solomon. Well, you know.
Yeah, but well, I mean that's a healthy aspiration.
I still don't live in a mansion, so it hasn't worked out. No, but I didn't. That's a funny thing. I didn't want the whatever. I wanted to understand everything because he was the wisest.
Gotcha.
Yeah. He was his
wisdom. He made a lot of mistakes. So.
Yeah, but I should have wanted to be David instead, right? Because he was more. I don't know which one was more successful, but I wanted to be Solomon because I thought he was like supposedly he gave such like sage advice and all the time, and I was like, I want to be that guy. And then God just added like financial.
Everything
so I was like, well, that seems fun. Anyway. So I guess I just was like, you start worrying about your kids because you're like, I feel like they're being raised in a culture that doesn't like, that's like, whatever. I guess I shouldn't complain. I'm not going to complain because that's odd.
I don't think
because basically the world of your kids is whatever you make it to be. It's not,
there's no whatever you expose them to.
Yeah, whatever you expose, and you have control over like the iPad, you have control over the television, you have control over just whatever. You don't have to like worry that, that
I mean they go to school too though, so I mean I'm not at school, so I have to just have to trust and believe that the things that I've instilled in them since they were young, it's going to come out. So they say, because I ask them like, oh, they're like, Mom, what does this mean? Oh wow, I didn't know what that meant. And then they'll say, oh wow, so some kid was saying that at school, and then when they hear it again because it's something that they now know is not good, they steer clear of it. Or if they're asked about it.
You know what I think is also great is the fact that you have 3 of them. I think is a really good thing because I think the 3 of them will kind of reinforce like support for each other. Like that's how I envision. Well, because you know what? If everybody else is doing bad, your brother is not. If everybody else is doing bad, you're like the 3 of them have each other. They know that each other isn't whatever, and that's important because otherwise it's like. I'm not that being an only child would make a person susceptible to just going along with their friends all the time. But I think having the 3 of them together, they have somebody to look to be like, they have somebody to look to to reinforce the values they were raised with.
However, when they go to high school, that's a different story because we're just talking about it today. All 3 of them want to go to 3 different high schools. So my thing as a mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, you've got to stay together so you have somebody to. But my thing at the same time, they're like, Mom, don't you trust that you